Hi, my name is Carl Lindberg. I'm an independent filmmaker and a longtime Nintendo fan. So every year I go to E3 and I'm always excited about Nintendo. I'm a diehard Nintendo fan. And every year, at least recently, I've been disappointed. So I kind of want to show this video just to kind of express my frustration. Every video that I do, I always want to show the outside of E3 and then people lining up waiting to go inside, because I don't think many people get to see what it's like to go to E3, and people don't really see the floor booths and what that looks like, because the games you can all see online. So this is a little, just for my own personal amusement, just showing the E3 video booths of Nintendo throughout the years and seeing what's popular. And when you see the signs, you kind of see what other games are coming out and give you kind of context when we talk about Star Fox and the lack of graphic finesse, shall we say. The main thing is with Nintendo this year in the press conference, or rather not a press conference, but the Nintendo Direct, it was very disappointing. I know a lot of fans were upset, and looking at the Metroid news, and I don't think I was necessarily angry. I was just kind of sad and depressed. So, and the main thing was, I'm so despised for Nintendo, so all they need to do is have one game and I'd be excited about it. And so last year, the year prior, was Donkey Kong Frozen Jungle, whatever it was called, on Wii U. And I was happy because it was one game, one 2D game, and that's good. However, this year with the Nintendo Direct, there was no new games worth talking about. Nothing new. Yoshi Woolly World, we knew about before. It's already out in Europe a couple weeks later. And that Mario, even though they changed it to Super Mario Maker, we'd already seen it. So they had actually shown absolutely no new games that anyone cared about. The Zelda on 3DS is a multiplayer fiasco. Metroid, well, there's a petition to take it down. And what is apparently obvious is that Nintendo is basically dropped the Wii U support and is basically developing for the NX, their next console. All these games that we're seeing, the one thing that they're pushing is Star Fox. A, it's not new, we saw that last year. B, it's done by Platinum Games or partnership with Platinum Games. So all the internally developed Nintendo properties, they're all just, they dropped Wii U. Wii U is dead. And basically they're just developing all their games for the NX. So it's really, I think they kind of learned from Sega maybe in some ways, where Sega releases the add-ons on Genesis and then they don't really support Saturn, and then they have Dreamcast and that dies, and it's just, you can't just release a console and then give up on it, and then it puts a bad taste in people's mouths. So they're kind of just trying to buy time, push out some stuff on Wii U just to make it look like they didn't drop it, but it's quite clear that there's not much coming out anymore, and Nintendo's moved on, and basically us, the consumers, should move on as well. And this is not like, I don't want to make this a bashing Nintendo video, because I really love Nintendo. I want them to succeed. And I like Star Fox. I think it looks fine. I know it looks old, dated graphics, but I'm a retro gamer at heart, so it's okay that the graphics aren't modern, and it's Star Fox, and it's a little bit linear, the stages, which I like. So I'm not going to fault Nintendo on that. I like Star Fox. My main issue is just there's nothing new. And to wrap things up, Nintendo dropped support for Wii U. They moved on. They clearly, in response to the Metroid situation, is that they admitted that they're working on another Metroid, but it's on the next console. They admitted Mario is being made for the next console. You're not going to see another one until the NX. So obviously, if the NX is supposed to be revealed next year, and they're working on the launch titles, I don't think people much cover that online, but it's basically Wii U, it's gone, it's done with. I also wanted to show a bonus video of Capcom and Konami's booths. Just how have the mighty fallen. We see this Capcom, they devote a lot of space to the side of it, to digital titles. There's the lack of physical releases is kind of disturbing, but at least Capcom will release that stuff internationally, and we can get stuff on import, like Resident Evil HD Remake. I think a lot of times it's meant for US, because they don't even call it Biohazard. It's called Resident Evil. You buy it import, you put it on your shelf, it looks like it was released here. So that rubs me a little bit wrong way. At least they acknowledge that Mega Man exists, even though they don't make another Mega Man title. But half of one side was Ghostbusters, which I had never heard of. There was a mobile game, but I love Ghostbusters. But you're promoting digital releases, and then this whole Mega Man thing, it's digital only, which I'm not going to compare this new compilation to the old one because the old one's better, but hopefully there'll be a Mega Man physical release, or Rockman rather, but they'll probably change Rockman to Mega Man knowing a lot of people would import it. So there'll hopefully be a physical release of that. And I also wanted to show, so one side is the digital only, then you have Street Fighter, just to kind of show you what Capcom's displaying. And they have that old retro video playing on the screens as well, which in years past was Onimusha Resident Evil, and we used to watch that and see what showed up. And there's a lot of merchandising from Capcom, which I'm all for, them to really embrace their old school roots, but I wish they would have new Mega Man, have a new, well, they did Bionic Commando, so I'm not going to fault them on that. Well, the digital only ones were good. And hopefully they'll have another Mega Man. I know they have a new Mega Man person at Capcom trying to push that property forward, so hopefully we'll get something good with that. And they do a lot of compilations, and they're the most, of all companies, they're the ones that keep releasing stuff. So anyway, then we have more of their brands like Resident Evil, which is digital only, but hopefully we'll get an import release of that. So I'll still give them a pass on that. And then the last booth I want to show is Konami, which talk about, they had Metal Gear, and that's all they had. And they had a whole booth designed to promote Metal Gear. And back in the day, I'd run there and they'd have a new Contra, and they'd have a new Gradius, and you'd turn your corner and you'd see a new Castlevania, like, oh my god, what's this Castlevania? And there's none of that. So it's just, E3 is different now. The booths are different. And, it used to be fun to run to Nintendo and see, maybe there's something they're not at the press conference, you'd discover something new and you wouldn't know what it is. Or Capcom or Konami, and now it's like, I've given up. We're not going to get another Gradius, we're not going to get another Contra. God knows what's happening to Castlevania. So that's the end of the video. Sorry I'm the bearer of bad news, but Nintendo's still alive. They'll still keep making games. It's just going to be on a different platform. Thank you.